My name is Alex, and I wasn't destined to live past 25. By all medical prognoses, I should have died at 10, when mysterious seizures racked me, and doctors shrugged and told my mother to prepare for the worst. Then at 14, when my kidneys failed. Then at 18, when my heart suddenly began stopping every few days, and I was hooked up to machines again and again. But I survived. I always survived. My mother, Helen, stood by my bedside day and night, adjusting my four and praying. The nurses wept with her devotion. Our local newspaper wrote a story about her, headlined "Angel Mother, Woman Devoted Her Life to Her Dying Son." Everyone wanted a mother like that. And I wanted one too. Until I realized that the only person killing me was her. My childhood was spent in hospital wards with crisp white sheets and the smell of antiseptic. I don't remember a single birthday outside the hospital or a single summer spent outside with friends. I had no friends. My mother said my immune system was too weak to interact with the outside world. She homeschooled me, cooked special meals, and strictly monitored my medication. Every morning, I'd swallow a handful of pills, and by lunchtime, I'd be nauseous. My mother would put me to bed, stroke my head, and say, "It's okay, darling, we'll get through this. Mom's here." And it was the warmest feeling in the world, the feeling of being so desperately needed that even your illness becomes a reason to love. My father left when I was 6. He couldn't stand it anymore, saying my mother was suffocating him with her care, that he couldn't live in this mausoleum. I remember him screaming at her, "You've turned our home into a hospital. You're enjoying his suffering." I hated my father for those words back then. My mother cried all night, and I held her hand, promising never to leave her. Now I understand, he was the only one who saw the truth. But even he didn't fully understand. The years passed, and my illnesses became more and more complex. At 7, sudden attacks of choking, which, according to my mother, required immediate injections of vitamins. After these injections, I would lose consciousness for a day. At 10, blood in my urine, kidney failure, dialysis, prayers. At 12, strange burns in my mouth, as if I'd drunk acid. The doctors were baffled. "Your son has a unique combination of autoimmune pathologies," they told my mother, and their voices echoed with admiration for her resilience. She blogged about our struggle, she had thousands of followers, and people sent us donations, cards, and toys. He was the most famous sick boy in the state of Ohio. And then, when I turned 16, something clicked. I was lying down after another vitamin injection, my head was heavy, but I didn't fall asleep like I usually did. I pretended to be asleep. My mother was standing by the window, talking on the phone to one of her blogger friends. "Yes, the test showed a sharp drop in white blood cell count," she said, almost cheerfully. "This is another crisis. We're preparing a new post, we need to make the most of this. Photos from the intensive care unit get the most donations." I lay with my eyes closed and listened to my mother discuss my death as a marketing strategy. "No, it's too early for him to die," she laughed into the phone. "I need him to be alive and suffering." That evening, I looked into her makeup bag for the first time. My mother always carried a large bag with medications, bandages, and vials. I found a bottle labeled eye drops, but inside was a clear, odorless liquid. I dropped some on my tongue, it stung, like the stomatitis I'd gotten as a child. While she slept, I checked the internet and, from scraps of handwriting on worn-out labels, figured out what it was. An industrial solvent. In small doses, it causes damage to mucous membranes, convulsions, and with prolonged use, kidney and heart damage. My mother added it to my food. Every day. For years. 4 months, I lived in a fog. I couldn't believe my eyes. I checked her bag again and again and found more bottles. Medications that caused vomiting and arrhythmia. Ampoules labeled for immunosuppression, they suppressed my immune system, turning any bite into sepsis. A diary where she meticulously recorded dosages and my body's reactions. March 15th, initial dose 2 milliliters, result, seizures after 40 minutes, good response. March 22nd, increased to 3 milliliters, goal, hospitalization for 2 weeks. It was a scientific study of my deterioration. I began secretly collecting evidence. A cheap voice recorder, bought with money stolen from her wallet. I hid it in my room and recorded conversations when she thought I was unconscious. One day, she was on the phone with my doctor. "Doctor, Alex is losing weight again, I'm so worried." "Yes, I'm giving him vitamins, but it seems his body is rejecting them." "No, I'll run tests in the morning, no need to call a nurse, I'll do it myself." She was a mother, a killer, and a master of covering her tracks. The most terrifying thing I heard was when she thought I'd passed out after another injection. She sat by my bed, caressed my cheek, and whispered, "My baby, my forever boy. You'll never grow up, you'll never leave me. No woman will take you. You'll always be mine. Even if it means keeping you on the edge for the rest of my life." She said it with such tenderness, with such love, that I would have vomited if I'd been able to move. She didn't just want attention and sacrifices. She wanted to own me. Completely. I was her project, her purpose in life, her drug. And she was ready to slowly, endlessly kill me if only I remained in her power. By the age of 18, I was almost completely immobilized, or so she thought. In reality, I secretly trained my muscles at night while she slept. I learned to control the dosage, spitting out some of the pills, hiding the food she fed me. I was planning my escape. I wanted to get to the police, the journalists, anyone who would believe me. The plan was this: wait until she left for her charity meeting for mothers of sick children, ironic, of course, and then I'd call an ambulance and force her to take a blood test for toxicology. I had notes, photos of the test tubes. That should have been enough. But she knew. She always knew. The night before the meeting, she came into my room with a tray. "Drink this, darling, this new mixture, it will help you sleep." I saw something new in her eyes, not the usual sweet sympathy, but a cold, assessing glint. I refused. "Mom, I won't." She smiled, "You will." And then I saw the syringe in her hand. It wasn't a regular one, this one was filled with a cloudy liquid, and the needle was long, like a spinal tap. I tried to get up, but she was faster. With unexpected force, she pushed me down onto the bed and twisted my arm. "Did you think I wouldn't notice you weren't taking your pills?" She hissed, and for the first time, I saw the angel's face transform into that of a predator. "I see everything, Alex. I always see everything. Do you want to leave me? After everything I've done for you? No. You'll stay with me. Forever." She plunged the needle into my neck. I screamed, but she clamped my mouth shut. The world spun, and the last thing I heard was her whisper, "Don't be afraid, it's not fatal. It's just a medication to keep you from walking." Paralysis of the legs sounds like the perfect new diagnosis, right? The whole world will sympathize with us again. A few days later, I woke up in intensive care. I was paralyzed from the waist down. My mother sat next to me, crying tears of joy at my survival. The doctors talked about a rare complication, a sudden spinal pathology. Someone even suggested naming the syndrome after me. I tried to speak, to scream, but every time I opened my mouth, my mother would tenderly tell the nurses, "He has post-traumatic delirium, poor thing, he's delirious." And they would give me a sedative. 7 years have passed. I'm still in a wheelchair. We live in the same house. My mother cares for me, washes me, feeds me, changes the catheter. She still blogs, but now I'm an adult disabled son, a victim of a rare disease. Donations come in abundance. Once a month, a journalist or volunteer comes to visit, admiring her dedication. I smile for the camera. I have no choice. She promised that if I try to tell the truth, the next injection will permanently deprive me of the ability to speak. And I believe her. She never threatens, she simply states the facts. The worst thing happens at night. She comes into my room, sits next to me, takes my face in her hands, and says, "How beautiful you are, my boy. How good it is that you never left. We will always be together, won't we? You and I, against the world." And I nod. I nod because I know, The monster that loves you is 100 times more terrible than the one that hates you. You can run away from hate. From love, never. Sometimes I look at the photograph of my father, which I secretly keep under my mattress. The only person who could have saved me died 10 years ago of a heart attack. Then my mother said, "Poor Dad, his heart couldn't bear the separation from his son." Now I know she sent him a postcard with the cure, the very same powder that causes cardiac arrest in the elderly. She showed me a copy of the postcard, signed, "With love, your wife and sick son." This is what happens to those who try to separate us.